Oh, okay, so if we're gonna go out for training, Talion said, I guess I'll go out there with Rico and we'll wait for you. Maybe we can have some fun while we're waiting. You ever played tag, Rico? He said, looking over to her. No, Rico don't know what tag is. But if Master Talion wants to, we play this tag, she said with a grin. Oh, no you don't, Salus replied, looking towards Talion and Rico, walking over to them. You two aren't going anywhere just yet. What? Talion replied. Oh, did you think I forgot? That you went out yesterday and picked up a servant. No more sudden impromptu trips from you. Last thing I need is for you to go out there and find another one of them, or worse. So I'll go check our training grounds in the surrounding area. Make sure everything's clear and see if there are any more tag-alongs to be found. Make sure you don't cut any magical deals without realizing it, or get yourself killed, he said, turning around abruptly and walking out of the door in a huff, slamming it behind him. Ugh, what a buzzkill. Just take all the fun out of it. I mean, Rico's not bad. If anything, it was kind of lucky that we met, Talion said, crossing his arms and glaring at the door, as he heard a somewhat familiar growling sound. The sound of Rico's stomach beginning to growl, rumbling ever so slightly. Oh, are you hungry again, Rico? Wow, that is surprising, Rico said, looking down at her stomach. Usually Rico's stomach takes much longer to make growly noise. It's no problem, Rico. You can have some of my energy. Rico thanks you, Master Talion, she said, taking a bow, raising back up with a joyous smile on her face as she opened her mouth. And once again, the sparkly silver light began to emerge, pouring towards Rico, being rapidly devoured. Oh my, that is certainly interesting, Vera said as she began to watch the silver light fade away into Rico, pouring from Talion's form. So she really does devour demonic energy. I have to say, it's interesting to see, she said, as Rico finished, slamming her mouth shut, her teeth making another sharp clacking sound, like a mousetrap going off, swallowing the remains of the energy down and letting go of a small burp, before giggling again. Rico thinks she likes that noise, she said, as Vera let off a small chuckle. Mother, Melody said, as she approached Rico. Rico, you really must not do that. At least don't be so happy about it. You're a girl. It's not ladylike. If you truly must burp, then it's just proper manners to cover your mouth and try to do it softly. Oh, but Rico likes noise, Rico replied, looking up somewhat upset towards Melody. I know, it's all fun, but eventually you will grow up, and no man wants a belching wife. It's important to remain proper. Have some etiquette, Rico. Oh, what is etiquette? Where does Rico get? This is going to take some time, she said, seeming a bit deterred, as she looked down at Rico's smiling face. But you are adorable. At least you have an excuse to act like a child. That's Salus, on the other hand. Why are men so infantile? Seriously, it's just a few bandages. A little bit of cleansing alcohol to keep his wounds clean. Why must he give me so much trouble over it? Melody said, standing back up and beginning to move a few things around the kitchen, getting ready to make breakfast. Well, sweetheart, men can sometimes be that way, Vera said, as she walked over, taking a seat at the table. But, to be honest, us women aren't much different. We can be just as childish, depending on what you're talking about, of course. He actually reminds me of a certain someone. Vera said, smiling a bit. Melody looked upset, turning around to face Vera. Mother, I hope you're not suggesting that I am in any way like that. Completely childish. Vera smiled even wider, looking at Melody. Oh, I think you're more alike than you'd like to admit. Or care to, anyways. I have nothing in common with that man. Well, I don't know, Melody. I have to say, you've been smiling a lot more here recently than when I first arrived. True enough, you were happy when I first arrived, but something new has entered the game, so to speak. You seem more fulfilled as of recent. And exactly what is that supposed to mean, Mother? Melody said, putting her hands on her hips and looking very cross towards her mother. Melody, you haven't need of being coy. I mean, really, you've been out here in the woods for a great deal of time, with just you and Taleon. And now, suddenly, there is a quite handsome man hanging about. You're not a child, Melody. You're a woman, and like any woman, you have desires. There's no need to be ashamed of it. I've been known to be quite vigorous myself. Don't be absurd, Mother, Melody replied, turning back around and beginning to shuffle through things in the kitchen again. I am not some brainless little girl who's going to lose her senses just because a man happens to be around. Who cares if he's handsome? She said, scrubbing through the dishes. Ah, so you do think he's good looking? Melody replied. That's not what I meant. Vera just smiled, laughing a bit. I do wish you would stop that. We are in the presence of Taleon and Rico. I don't want them getting the wrong idea. Oh, and what's the right one exactly? Melody heard her mother say, turning around to give her a curious look. Exactly what should Taleon and Rico learn or expect? Is this what you want Talion's perception of life to be? That one should simply be happy to be alone? Is that the lesson you wish to give? Vera said, giving Melody a serious expression. As Melody's expression changed from seeming upset to a growing amount of concern. Melody, I know that your last relationship did not end kindly. I understand that you must have a great deal of trouble with it, the concept of being with anyone. But in the end, that fear will only hold you back. The more you deny yourself what you desire, the more you kill a small part of yourself. You may not think it now, but as the years continue to progress, you will eventually lament as the years set in, as you watch your life slip away. You will begin to ever the more regret that which you desired and did not chase, that which you sought to claim but gained no grip of. That is not the way that I want you to live your life. And I suppose you're one to talk, Mother. Wasn't it you who suggested that the only way was to simply take my child and leave? To be done with my marriage and just disappear? Raise my child on my own so that we could live a magical life? What's with the change of heart, Mother? Sweetheart, you must understand, all circumstances are not equal. If your husband would have been a mage, like us, then I would never have suggested it. But when dealing with humans, and those of a non-magical persuasion on top of it, it is the only reasonable option. The one that kept you safe. The one that kept my future grandchildren safe. But as I said, not all situations are equivalent. For example, this Salus. He is in nowhere near the same situation as your husband. In fact, he's not even human. It's not the same. There's no way he's going to turn on you if you teach your children magic or reveal that you use magic yourself. He already knows. He's not going to accuse you of doing anything wicked or evil simply because you have magic. He's not going to gather a swarm of villagers to attack you or judge you for associating with demons, as he is one himself. I'm by no means suggesting that you run off with the man or something like that. I'm only suggesting that you open yourself up to possibilities. It's not as if he's your destined soulmate or something like that. But he is a handsome man, and you've been alone for a great deal of time. Perhaps some adult company would do you good, she said, as Melody turned around to begin shuffling through things again, looking concerned, but actually flushing red a bit. What you mean adults company? Rico no get. You see, Mother, look what you've done. My mother doesn't mean anything, Rico. At least nothing that you need be concerned with. And the same goes for you, Taleon. Simply pay no attention to it, Melody said, still somewhat flushed as she turned around and began setting the cookware to prepare breakfast.